Brexit weakens the EU. At the same time, it made decisions possible that previously seemed impossible. Was it a coincidence or was it not? December not only brought the Brexit deal between the EU and the UK, at the same time the EU has made decisions that would have been much more difficult if the UK were still a member of the EU, or which it probably would not have been able to make at all. In connection with this, the EU correspondent Daniel Boffey of the British Guardian identified a mood of outrageous relief in Brussels. After all, what would have happened and what would not have happened in the past year if the UK had continued to have a say in what goes and what doesn't in the EU? It is true that the EU also failed at the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis. But wouldn't it have been worse if Boris Johnson had more influence on the process? Or with a reconstruction fund and the new multi-year budget, the Frugal Four, the Netherlands, Austria, Sweden and Denmark, could no longer count on the support of the much more influential UK in their opposition. And, much more important, even Hungary and Poland could no longer count on the support of the UK, which had always opposed the interference of Brussels in allegedly purely national affairs when they voted against the reservation of the rule of law for payments from the EU budget. On their own, Orban and Kaczynski finally agreed. Britain's sideline in internal EU discussions seems to have sparked a new dynamic even before the deal. Shortly before the end of the year, after 7 years of negotiations, the economic agreement with China came as a showpiece. The EU thus positioned itself as a global player at the very moment of the Brexit countdown and slipped into the role that Brexiteer Boris Johnson had promised his electorate. Or as the Guardian correspondent put it with a pinch of malice, while Boris Johnson is talking about a global Britain, Ursula von der Leyen is putting a promise to head a geopolitical European Commission into action. Meanwhile, the British press recently took Germany's corona policy to court. Federal Minister of Health Jens Spahn announced in Berlin on Friday that he saw the German vaccination campaign on the right track. Nevertheless, there have been repeated discussions about a vaccine recently, AstraZeneca. The German corona policy has now been massively criticized in the British press. And only recently, the renowned US newspaper New York Times traced Germany's development from being the pioneer in the pandemic to a country that, like everyone else, is inundated by the second wave of the pandemic. The British tabloids are taking the Federal Republic to justice. The occasion was apparently a front page of the German tabloid Bild. It was previously titled, "Dear Brits, we envy you," in relation to the announcement that Great Britain announced a return to normal from June 21st. The Sun responded with the following announcement: "We do not envy you for the EU vaccine mess," with a clear message. While Britain's vaccinated citizens could enjoy the summer with a detailed list of summer joys, Germany was paralyzed by the bureaucracy of the European Union in its vaccination campaign. While the UK would experience a summer like 1966, the European states stayed behind. In order to classify this information, it is important to know that the tabloid The Sun has a strongly conservative political orientation and was in favor of Britain's exit from the European Union before the Brexit vote. So it's hardly surprising that the British newspaper takes the chance to flex its muscles and sarcastically ask, how dare we leave its beloved cartel? How dare we end 47 years of confusing red tape and pathetically powered vacuum cleaners? We will be ruined if they oust our bright star from the EU flag, said the Sun journalist. And before I continue, that's one part of this idiotic, let's say, comment. There you see that how few even the journalists there know about the EU. They never knew anything about how the EU works. We could have seen this in all the discussions and all. But once again, the stars on the EU flag don't stand for any member state. And if they were, Britain wouldn't be on it. Because only 12, so the first 12 would be on it. And although if I miscalculated, Britain might have been, but still, it's not representing the stars. That's why the flag is the same as from the Council of Europe. It is standing for certain values, not for any state. None of these stars represents any state. But that's once again, as I said, the way that shows how misinformed so many people are. Even if journalists are doing such a bad research, well, it's the sun. But let's continue with what they're doing. And now, Germany has been vaccinated under the table, they say. However, we are not happy about your misfortune, they say. In the English language, there is no word for Schadenfreude. We are not complacent. We just have some advice for you guys. There is a way out. The tabloid, for example, suggests that Germany pave its own way out of the EU. And that definitely will not happen. Your country is the largest economic power in Europe, the fourth largest in the world. You produce some of the most desirable goods in the world. We love your cars and your kitchen accessories. You have a position of real power on this planet. If Tinder were a global platform, everyone would swipe right when they saw you. Oh boy. Finally, the author Colin Robertson would like to know what the German word for Brexit is. Only in this way could German politics straighten everything out again. However, he did not mention the political, cultural and economic consequences of Britain's exit from the EU. Not that anyone still feels Schadenfreude. Huh? A comment in the Daily Mail tends in the same direction. Also a newspaper that increasingly campaigned for Brexit and is known for its EU critical reporting. You know who worked there in the past, with made-up articles. Germany is losing the vaccine war and the EU will pay the price for it. It is the title of a recent comment. In it, the journalist tackles the skepticism of some residents of the Federal Republic against the British vaccine AstraZeneca with harsh words. After it became known that people even missed their vaccination appointments due to reservations about the vaccine. A freelance German journalist recently tweeted, "Hey guys, who's going with AstraZeneca containers tonight?" Among other things, the well-known virologist Christian Drosten campaigned for the good effectiveness of the vaccine in his podcast. Thanks to the scare tactics of EU politicians, ruthless German news outlets, and the country's vocal anti-vax movement, an alarming number of well-educated German citizens have been brainwashed into believing that the British shock was either ineffective, dangerous, or both. It continues in the comment. It becomes clear that Germans' reluctance to use the vaccine is met with anger and amazement in parts of the UK. Meanwhile, the head of the Standing Vaccination Commission, Thomas Mertens, said on Friday in the German broadcaster ZDF Heute Journal that the vaccination recommendation for AstraZeneca would be reconsidered. Previously, the vaccine was recommended for people between the ages of 18 and 64 due to the lack of data on its effects on the elderly. One reason for the skepticism towards AstraZeneca. Somehow the whole thing went badly, said Mertens. We had the data we had, and based on that data we made the recommendation. But we never criticized the vaccine. We have only criticized that the data situation for the age group over 65 was not good or not sufficient. The vaccine was very good. It would be now even better with the addition of new data, said the head of the Standing Vaccination Commission. And just to make that clear, that's a problem with social media, especially. Again, not the media wasn't the big problem there. The social media was the big problem. I reported on the point Merton said here weeks ago as well, that the data for the age group of over 65 was missing, and that's why there is no recommendation to give that to them. So in Germany at the moment we have the people who are vaccinated over 80 being vaccinated with BioNTech, Pfizer or Moderna, and caretaker personnel and so on, which are all younger than 64, vaccinated with AstraZeneca. That's just a mere fact. The data was missing. That's why we had that recommendation. It's a typical and normal thing we would have done here in Germany if the EU wouldn't have done that. Because that was the German Commission that said that too. So it's not an EU problem that some Brexiteers make up again. Germany would have done the same if they bought the vaccine on their own. The second thing is, which unpleasantly came as well, was there are always side effects of vaccinations. Not for everybody taking it, but there is no vaccination without side effects. And unfortunately on social media, you always got the experiences from the people that had side effects with AstraZeneca. They are all fine now after a week. Some had severe side effects but are now fine. So it's not a long-term problem. But the problem is that there were stronger side effects reported on social media in Germany from people getting it than from BioNTech or Moderna. And that has been another issue. And social media really blew the whole thing up, that we have parts of Germany where the people really in numbers refuse to take it. And they're thinking about changing the groups now so they don't have to throw anything of that away. To be honest, I have tons of allergies, and especially the AstraZeneca one contains some stuff like normally every vaccine does. That is a problem for people with allergies if you have trouble with shower gels and shampoo and stuff like this, because one of the ingredients that might have been an issue is part of many vaccines. And so I have to ask before too when it's my turn. It might be my turn earlier now if more people don't want AstraZeneca, but it is approved by the German Vaccination Commission. And if the doctor I will have to talk to about, because everybody with allergies has to talk to them before the vaccination, it's fine, then I'm gonna have AstraZeneca, no problem. Just to make that one clear. Yeah, it's just always the personal situation where you have to check stuff with every vaccine if you have a lot of allergies or stuff like this. Or especially with the breath part from my infection from a year ago. That is just the points I have to check out with them. But if a vaccine is cleared by the EU Health Commission and additionally the German Commission, I have no issue with that. The same will go in a very short time for Johnson & Johnson. So everything that is approved here and whatever they offer me when it's my time to be vaccinated and they say my allergies are not a problem with it, I will take it. If it's BioNTech, it's BioNTech. If it's Moderna, it's Moderna. If it's AstraZeneca, it's AstraZeneca. And if it's Johnson & Johnson, it's Johnson & Johnson. So just to make this one clear, to get rid of all those vaccine myths running around there, or all the panic that is spread. I even read this in my comments about taking down AstraZeneca. With none of them, we're absolutely sure it helps against every variant. The same goes for AstraZeneca. They have issues with it, with the South African variant. Okay, but Now there are new variants in the US. Nobody knows if BioNTech, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson helps against any of those. You have the risk with every vaccine. And so all the vaccines that are approved by our commissions, and the same will go for Sputnik V, by the way. It is not approved yet, but they are in the process of doing that. If it's approved, period. And so leave out all those panic. I trust in these bodies we have. They are specialized for this. Those people are real medical specialists. They know what they're doing. And in the case of AstraZeneca and the 65-year-old you saw, they are really careful with stuff like this. They have more data now. There's more long-term data now from other countries as well, with more people who receive that. So that will be fine then. And soon people above 65 can get AstraZeneca too. So just cut out the whole panic stuff. Or this one is better than the other. Yeah, the UK started with BioNTech because it was the first available. Then they had AstraZeneca, like we all do. The whole thing is we have to get the vaccination done on this whole planet to live properly again. And to be honest, we might have some problem to get enough today, because not everything we ordered is approved yet, and so on, and that goes for all the rich countries. But we have ordered much more than we need, and it is really time still, even if life goes up slowly, that we don't forget the poorer countries and the need for vaccination there, because if we are all vaccinated, and in many other countries the virus is spreading like hell, there will be someday new mutations or variants that our vaccines can't cope with. As the longer we let this run, the more variants will be, and nobody knows what will happen with variant after variant. So we have to make sure everyone who needs it is vaccinated. And so, once again, I know I'm preaching a bit today, but this is a serious topic and no place for political games, even if some people in Downing Street sometimes really love that, and they always spread this topic to cover up a lot of other things, but I'm not playing that game. This is too serious. Let's stay serious on that one, and let's stay honest. The approved vaccines in the EU and in the UK, even if they went a different strategy for approving than we did, are safe, and we can have them. And to be honest, we should have them if we want to have our normal lives back. And so cut out all the crap with the panic or the talking down of any of those vaccines. If I'm offered, and I make this one last time very clear, if I am offered AstraZeneca as the vaccine that I'm getting when it's my time to get vaccinated, I will take it. If I can be vaccinated all with all my allergies, but we'll see. I think so. But then I will take it. And so, das Wort zum Sonntag, as we say in Germany, it's a preaching on Saturday evening on TV for the coming Sunday. And obviously this video was a little bit like this, but I felt this had to be. And if you want to stay informed, if you stayed on that long, I know I was babbling a bit in the end, but I didn't want to script that one. Please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget my other channels. But please, if you subscribe to my other channels, please watch the videos or unsubscribe. Subscribers that don't watch don't help anything. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.